I told myself as soon as I heard Will Smith rapping, I would walk the fuck out of the theater, and I did. Thankfully, it was at the end, but even so, sucks it happened. And if it isn't obvious enough what I'm talking about the 2019 live-action remake of Disney's Aladdin. Now, to give my quick thoughts on the original Aladdin, it's great. Not the absolute best Disney movie, but it's unlike a lot of them, where a movie like Hunchback of Notre Dame and Beauty and the Beast is very polished and it has a lot of quality and expressive detail, and, the animation just breathes. Aladdin's animation was very fast-paced, very zany, very fun. It's a colorful-looking movie. It's gorgeous animation. Robin Williams kills it in that movie. Even if I don't like all the pop cultural references he makes, it's improv mostly, so I can give it a slide. Came out during the Disney Renaissance, and it is definitive in that genre and highly recommended. But how does this one fare out? Oh boy, where do I begin with this one? Now, this movie has a lot more cons than it does pros, but I'll get the pros out of the way. So the people who play Aladdin and Jasmine in this actually feel like the real live-action versions of these characters. At least with Aladdin, he seems just about perfect. He's got that dreamy boy look that he was designed as a cartoon, and he literally just kind of feels like he was just pulled off the pages, and, he did a good enough job. His singing wasn't great, but, nobody in this movie did singing that good. They were all auto-tuned, not as bad as Emma Watson in Beauty and the Beast, but decent enough. And the woman who played Jasmine was also pretty damn good, And they gave Jasmine a song in this, which was not in the original Aladdin, but even though I don't like the song as much, which I'll get into later, I thought she did a good enough job. And I'll even throw a slight bit of a okay towards the genie. Now, I'm sure a lot of you know, people were going crazy when they saw Will Smith as the genie. People were just losing their minds. Memes were just all over the place. It was nuts. And the fact that, obviously they couldn't get Robin Williams to play this, but even if Robin Williams was still alive, I don't feel like they would have gotten him. I don't think he would have agreed to this. But Will Smith obviously had some big shoes to fill. And in this case, I think he did about as best as he could. I mean, honestly, just like any Will Smith movie, it's Will Smith playing Will Smith. I mean, what do you guys expect? It's like same as seeing Samuel L. Jackson play Samuel L. Jackson. You're going to have the motherfucker in every movie. But this is kind of like, in a way, he's his own thing, but it's not like he's trying to be the Robin Williams genie, or at least it's not like he's trying to top it. He's just kind of like, being his own thing, The genie character is a little bit just more like him, and, there's nothing too much wrong with that. It doesn't seem like he's trying to, play off of, someone else's success. And another plus I'll give is that, unlike the Robin Williams genie, this one did not feel the need to force in a whole lot of cultural references and, jokes about stuff that's in modern day. Obviously, I think Robin Williams, when he did that, it was more like improv, and they just kind of kept it in because it was funny. And truth be told, I don't love it, but I did laugh at it in the original. And here, Will Smith did what he could. But now here comes everything else. I personally don't like the first 20 minutes of this movie, or at least I don't like it how it adapts from the cartoon. For one, when they do the sequence of one jump ahead, obviously the original was a little bit more cartoony, but it was a little bit more fast-paced animation, and it seemed like it was consistent, knew when to take pauses. However, in the live-action version, it was pretty damn messy. For one thing, the actors don't move as fast, which I kind of am surprised at, because this movie was directed by Guy Ritchie, and the Sherlock Holmes movies usually have some decent enough fast-paced, in-your-face action, but it just seemed all choppy here, because at times the people aren't moving fast enough, and even when they're near the end of the song, they're not moving fast enough, so they literally speed up the movie. They shrink down the clip by speeding it up, and it just looks so shitty. And honestly, I like this actor who's playing Aladdin, but at times he doesn't seem like he's giving all the energy that he should, especially near the end of when he's singing One Jump Ahead. And personally, I don't like the way how this film can't really translate well to live action. And by that, I mean, they're making these live action Disney movies for a newer audience, people who haven't seen these movies. This movie came out about almost 30 years ago, and they're trying to make it for a newer audience, and it's not really translating well enough. Some things either happen too fast or they're not delved into enough. Like the introduction to Jafar in the original in the Cave of Wonders, that was setting up a good cause. But here, it goes by so quickly that they're still singing the Arabian Nights song over the whole thing, and it's we really don't even know what's happening. Or at least if we do, it's handled so fast and, not well balanced. Also, I don't know how they could have done this, but they messed up Jafar so bad. Jafar is one of the definitive Disney animated villains, and they just messed him up completely here. Now, in the original, he was slimy, he was conniving, he was like a human version of a snake. He was so sinister. But here, he just seems like a whiny little child. Whenever something doesn't go his way, it looks like he wants a sippy cup, or he's about to throw a fit, or at least he feels like Draco Malfoy in the middle of the Harry Potter movies, where he's just like, "Oh, my father will hear about this." You know, it's like everything is just bottled up, and I'm like, this is not the Jafar that I imagined. Let me tell you guys, I've never seen the Maleficent movie, but after seeing the trailer in the theater for the sequel, I can tell you right now, she does a better job playing Maleficent than this guy does playing Jafar. And that was just from a trailer, and that's really sad. Also, here's a drinking game for you. Take a shot every time someone in this movie yells, "The lamp!" Let's hope you don't wind up dead after that. Another pro I'll give to this movie is that at least it looks nice. The visuals are nice. It's very energetic when it needs to be, especially during the "You've Never Had a Friend Like Me" number. And honestly, the music is very well orchestrated compared to the original. Might even be better than the original, but that's maybe a stretch, but that's just how I see it. You know what? They are good renditions when they're not being totally auto-tuned. You know, if the singing's not as good, at least the music sounds good. However, some things caught me off guard. Like, they wrote this brand new song for the soundtrack specifically for Jasmine. And honestly, it feels like they could have gone without it. The song is called Speechless, and it's basically just about how she's not gonna stay accustomed to the norms of being a princess and how she wants to branch out. But it is used in such a weird way. They do it earlier in the movie where it's just talking about how she's feeling, like, you know, like a princess needs a song, and I guess that's why they threw it in, because Jasmine didn't have a song like every other Disney princess that had a song expressing their feelings, and I guess she didn't. They just wanted to fill that gap. But later, in the third act of the movie, it makes no goddamn sense, or at least caught me off guard completely. There's a scene where she's like literally walking through guards and they just disappear while she's singing how, "Oh, I'm not gonna take this from Jafar," and then, like, you know, as soon as she's done singing the song, it's like she never walked through those guards. It's really hard to explain, but you have to see the movie. It literally feels like, the best example I can give is anyone who's seen Sucker Punch, the scenes where Baby Doll dances, but you never see her dance, but instead you see something in her mind where she's like having this weird fantasy. That's what it felt like. And I didn't like either of them. And of course, the movie had to end with a musical number. For no reason. Literally no reason at all. We showed that there's a celebration happening, and like, they just needed a dance party at the end, like we're some Sony Pictures animation movie. Honestly, this movie just didn't do it for me. Especially the director that it's coming from, I feel like he could have done a lot better. And I at least thought this movie would be like fast-paced energy, because when I heard Guy Ritchie was doing this, I figured that, like, you know, chase sequences, like a lot of the big action set pieces in this movie would be resemblant of like Uncharted or something. But no, they were just so sloppily edited and put together. It almost feels like he didn't even have enough creative control to do what he wanted. So yeah, obviously, as you can tell, this movie didn't really do it for me, but I wouldn't say it's like the worst thing you could see for kids. In fact, I feel like kids who see this movie who are disappointed might end up wanting to watch the original, and if that'll get them to watch it, then by all means see this movie. But otherwise, if you're expecting to see a really true to nature Aladdin live action movie, this is probably not your cup of tea, and it's certainly not mine. I didn't hate this movie as much as I did the 2017 Beauty and the Beast movie, but this one wasn't really that good either. But you know, if you gotta get your Disney fill in, then go check it out and see for yourself. Otherwise, this just wasn't for me.